Welcome into Best Ball and Brews. Got my dude Sean Hoy here, NHL guy who's been attacking these eliminators. So he's going to join me today. Sean, how we doing?
Pretty good. I think it's Tuesday. I always lose track already, but we're doing it. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've been getting into these weekly winter drafts. I've been doing these eliminator drafts, fast drafts, slow drafts. So I'm loving it. So I wanted to have you on today. Of course, this is a weekly show at Tuesday at 5, and we're going to have a lot of other guests on. I got Neil Warfield joining next week. A lot of people in the DFS space, best ball space know him. So stay tuned for that next Tuesday. But we're going to start right away, just the two of us, and we're going to hop into Eliminator. So do we want to see, is everyone ready? Let us know if you're ready in the chat. I know we got Tattoo here who's fragile because his team lost yesterday, and he's probably, I know he was doing bong hits. I think that's why he almost had a heart attack, because you're hitting that bong a little too much, and loud noises scare you.
Well, also his generational talented player took a lick. So
yeah,
like David.
I heard about that. I didn't watch the game, but I heard about that. I'm sorry, Dixon. And no, it's not geek. It's not lunchtime. We do have a few more people. Everyone loves the geek. I love the geek. That's why I joined DFS Army. But we do have a few more people here. So we will be doing this show every Tuesday. You'll still have geek Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right. I always love your comments, by the way. I watch the NFL, not Players Club, but Tournament Tactics every Friday, and always love the comments, bro. Hilarious.
The name just, oh my gosh.
So we're gonna get into the eliminator first, and so we're doing 20-second clock. Everyone, you're ready? I am going to hit enter now. Confirm. We'll see what we get. So we got 9 people, so we got a ways to go. So this is awesome. The reason I wanted to start with the eliminator, my preference is the weekly winners. That's because the contest that I studied, and really because it's the perfect, for those of you who haven't seen before, it is best ball meets DFS. So that's what I really love about the weekly winners contest. But we're going to get into a little bit of the eliminator contest on Underdog, because it's more like cash game strategy. So Sean, what did you find out by studying this contest?
The beauty of it is there isn't that much to study, because this is the first time they are doing it in this format where they are doing the head-to-heads after the first week. So that means that a lot of the sharp people like us and whoever, the grinders out there, they don't exactly know how to attack this. Like we're assuming cash game. We want to, that's like the standard that we want to like kind of go for, but we want to hybrid it with some stacks and a little bit of upside, because you have to win. Like it is just one person, but you have to beat them. So it's kind of an interesting format here.
Definitely. And it's like cash games, I always say, because I do NFL cash games for DFS Army. And I always say you're trying to beat half the field, so you don't need to get too cute with your lineup, right? And really that's what it is the first week, right? And then it's just a series of, head-to-heads essentially every week after that.
Yep. And I actually, if you maxed out this competition, which I know is like a big commitment, you'd be in for $1,500, which, like I said, big commitment. But if you have one team get past week 11, you're pretty much already in profit. And that's one team. Like that is really hard to do, but we're trying to win the whole thing, because I think that's the $1,000 mark. And then like if you have some other stuff, cashing out and whatever. So if you make it to week 12, you're really getting some real ROI.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, shot at 200K, basically playing, cash game style. Now, obviously, it is still a large field GPP. There's still 196,000 entrants, and that variance will happen. I do have those cash weeks where your lineup just gets crushed, and you played the most optimal lineup, and you get crushed, right? But you put in enough of these, I think you have a really good shot to at least get some money. And to your point, maybe you don't win the 200,000, but if you're looking for a contest where it's a large field contest and you can make serious money and you actually have a good chance to, not win the thing and make money back, it's really going to be this type of contest. Because most of these contests, like if the weekly winners, which we're going to do next, that is your large field GPP. That is your milli maker. You're either winning first or you're finishing top 10, or you're probably just looking to min cash in that. You're probably losing most of your entry fees, where here you could essentially, make some money back, have some positive ROI.
Yeah. Yeah. Weekly winners. I know we're talking about the eliminator right now, but like you've done a lot of good work with that and like making it like so you have the best chance of winning. Mm-hmm. I just more have like a problem with their payout structure because, like you said, there's like close to 200,000 entries, and yeah, you have 17 chances to hit it, but you really pretty much have to win. Like I think only like 2 or 3% of the field even cashes. And what I would like for them to do next time is they have like a couple thousand spots that make like $7 or something. Just truncate that all to the top, just so that when you bink, you really bink.
Yeah. They had 2 years ago in the weekly winners, it was like, and we only got one left, by the way, guys. And what's up, Ray? Good to see you in here. Yeah, he's done a couple. I mean, we got a 200K winner in here, so that'll be fun. Definitely hope you get into this draft with us. But yeah, it was $20 like 2 years ago, and then they changed. All right, they changed the entry fee to like $10, and the payout structure, wasn't quite as good with it. But it's kind of why I wanted to start with the eliminator. When you build for when you build like on a Sunday morning, when you're building your DFS lineups, you really kind of want to start with your cash line. This is like the most optimal lineup. These are the best plays. And then, where can I get different in my tournaments? So that's what we're going to really try to do here. It's just playing the best plays. Like you don't necessarily need to stack like crazy, like you would in the weekly winners. But when you're playing the milli maker, you do need to stack. And that's essentially what the weekly winners is. It's a lot of correlation wins it. So who do we all got in here? We got Drago, of course. I don't think he's missed one of these. I'm picking 9th. Which one did you make it in here, Sean?
Oh, I didn't do it. No,
you didn't do it. That's fine. Okay, you can guide me on my picks. Tattoo. I don't know if Tattoo made it. All right, so we start out Chase. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a good strategy. Like you don't want to wait too long on quarterback in this. It's just like cash games. Like you want a good floor at quarterback. All right, let us know your name, Heem. All right, so yeah, we're seeing a heavy run on running backs, and this is really no surprise, right? How many of these have you done so far, Sean?
I think somewhere between 35 and 40. Yeah, I need to hold off a little bit because of news breaking and stuff and fluke injuries, but you also are getting people at ADPs that you weren't before. Like if you took a Dobbins or an Aaron Rodgers or a Chubb like super late, you might have a shot at a miracle pick. But
yeah. All right. I haven't been taking Christian McCaffrey a lot, but I feel like it's better in this format because we're just trying to get into the money. He may not make it the whole season, but if we get in the money, it's fine.
Well, that and the week 14 bye. I really
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like with weekly winners, I've either been like targeting, the week 8 bye, like having as many players as possible, or I just make sure like my bye weeks are spread out. Where in this, like you really want to favor if you're looking between two players, like you really want to get the guy that has the late bye versus like the week 5 bye. All right, so we got Razor in here. We had Drago start with Saquon Barkley. Razor took Nico Collins right in front of me. And that's Raymond. Okay, that's Raymond. Okay, I get that. That adds up. All right. So I want to start double running back. I don't know. It's really
if you have Derrick Henry, it's tempting.
Yeah, it is. The problem that I run into is like when you're building a cash lineup, if you don't have good wide receivers that are getting good volume, like you're toast.
Yeah.
So, I want to make sure that I have at least a couple of these studs that I can lean on every week. And after this big run on running backs, it'll dry up real quick. And I really do like the crop of rookie running backs this year.
I do as well. Especially Hampton and Judkins.
Yes, definitely. I'm an RJ Harvey guy too. I mean, just look behind me here, Broncos fan. But Declare with Puka and Neighbors, I like the start. That's what I was talking about, like heavy volume guys that are going to be seeing about 10 targets a week. That's definitely what you want in a cash game type format like this.
Yeah, and when you get to like, I forget which round it is, but there's like a big crop of wide receivers where like Pickens and Ridley are. I'm just like, I don't like, it's so hard to pick. I like the Pickens upside, but I like Ridley's situation.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you too. I like Ridley a lot this year, mainly because I like Cam Ward where you can get him anytime you can get a running quarterback, and that's kind of the guy that I would target in a draft like this late. Like they just provide a good enough floor from week to week that those are really the type of quarterbacks you want to target, especially where you can get Cam Ward. You can get him at like 160, 170. To pair with Ridley, that's been a pick I've been trying to get in a lot of my drafts. All right, so let's start looking at some guys here that I might want. Yeah, there's still a good amount of running backs and wide receivers. Man, you're going old school. I love this. Love this, Ray. Here, let me make my pick real quick. But he's another guy, JSN. I think he's going to get a ton of targets this year. Tatum Bell. He was selling cell phones in the mall. Mike Shanahan called him up, rushed for 1,000 yards. Mike Anderson, the Marine, that dude was a beast too. The Shanahan system, man, it's legendary. All right, so Ray took Lamar, so started Nico, Jonathan Taylor, Lamar. So yeah, got an early quarterback. Same thing with Drago. There are decisions to make here. How late do you want to wait? I don't know.
I have some recommendations.
Yeah. See, I was going to take Jaden if he made it back to me, but because he did not make it back to me, I'm not going to reach.
I was between Jaden and I don't know if this person's sniping you or not, but I was going to say literally the next on the list is pretty appetizing.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take Joe Mixon there. I thought about taking Hurts. I very much was. The reason I didn't take him is because I had a very similar build the other day where I took Hurts in that spot. So I was like, I'll push it a little bit further.
Yeah, I have quarterbacks kind of in tiers. You got your top 3, And then you have, Burrow and Hurts and like that middling space.
Mm-hmm.
I will take those guys if they fall like 5 to 10 picks past their ADP.
Right.
And then I'm actually a big Mahomes guy this year. Him going like in the 80s, I've gotten him in the low 90s, and he's got 3 healthy receivers. Especially,
I'm good on that too. I like Mahomes this year because he didn't have Rashee Rice last year, right? And Hollywood Brown missed a ton of time, so you're getting a pissed off Mahomes after getting blown out in the Super Bowl.
yeah.
He's going to have Worthy another year older and more developed, and Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown. I think. Plus, Pacheco was hurt for a lot last year, so he had Kareem Hunt. Pacheco never really came back into form. I think Mahomes could have a pretty big year this year.
And in this format, like typically I do like stacking like with hybrid builds, but you can get a secondary stack. Like if Mahomes is your primary guy, you can have him, naked.
Yeah.
Because he's going to spread the ball out.
100%. He has anyway in the past. And with the AFC West just being overall better this year, I think that also helps Mahomes too. A lot of games, they could just win like grinded out games. And just if the other team's scoring, they got to answer. And that's when you see the best Mahomes. All right. So by the way, you did not snipe me on Chuba. I was going to take Mixon there, but I respect it.
Yeah, you can have Chuba. I'm actually one of my like non-handcuffed late RBs that I just take for depth a lot of the time is Dowdle with the week 14 bye, because I think he's not too far behind Chuba. I think Chuba's the guy there, but
yeah,
if you just need a floor of points, even without a Chuba injury,
right,
you might be able to bail you out in this format.
All right, this isn't going too bad. It's like in these style of drafts, like it's really hard to just wait on running back. Sometimes like I may grab 2, but then I'll just like hammer everything else. But in cash games, it's so hard because running back and half PPR, it's so much touchdown equity. So you got to have enough horses in the stable that can get you there, right?
One of my like main builds. I've been taking a lot of 3 early running backs, but
Yes,
if I'm doing 2 in the top 4 or 5 rounds, one of my favorite ones to go to is actually Pacheco, like in the middle of the draft, and then just grabbing Kareem Hunt late.
Yeah,
just getting that handcuff. It's kind of similar to Javonte and Jaden Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I took David Montgomery there just because of the touchdown equity. As long as he stays healthy, I'm confident Detroit Lions are going to. Oh gosh, I mean nightmares of no Sean. I'm confident that Detroit Lions are going to score a lot of touchdowns. No Sean actually was a decent running back, but the problem was Josh McDaniels drafted him. He got rid of Peyton Hillis, drafted No Sean, like got rid of Brandon Marshall. Like he just made like a lot of questionable decisions, and he took No Sean so high that you kind of expected him to be a star, and he was like good. He just wasn't great. So as a Broncos fan, No Sean, like that draft pick, like gives me nightmares, and I look at it in a negative way. But he actually was a decent running back for a while.
What about Monty Ball?
Monty Ball, the same thing. Monty Ball had a really good like rookie year, and then he just kind of faded away. But I think he had like a problem with alcohol. I know he did. So I think that had a lot to do with just like he wasn't kind of putting in the work that he was supposed to. But he had like a really good year, his rookie year, and then that was it.
And then he met you, and you guys started to head out on the town.
I mean, hey, I was pretty wild back then, but I wasn't partying with any Broncos players, that I know. Although I used to bartend in Lone Tree, and Demarius Thomas would come in there, and he was the coolest dude. He would just like walk up and give you money, and just like he did not act like a professional athlete of his status.
Yeah.
How you expect them to act? He was just a chill, down to earth dude. Rest in peace, DT. All right. One more, one away. I think I'm going to do it. And then I could leave running back alone for a while. 98. Let's see where we're at.
I like Caleb Johnson.
Yeah. I think he's going to have a good year. They're going to be better at quarterback.
That's a dude I forgot about, but I've been getting a lot of him.
Yeah.
Touchdown equity.
Well, the thing is like Aaron Rodgers, his best days are behind him, and we don't know what we're going to get from him this year, but it's hard to deny that he's an upgrade from what they've had. So that's why I like DK Metcalf, and we know the Steelers, like, hasn't really mattered who they have at quarterback. They can run the ball. They're going to be in the playoffs. It's just how they are. All right.
I'm still shocked that CMC fell to you at 9.
I'm a little shocked on that too.
I've
so
got
I put Ricky Pearsall here, so I got a little stack there.
Nice.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. He's been falling a little bit though. I had a draft a little bit ago. Now it was a weekly winners draft, but Alshon Genty fell to me at like 14. I couldn't believe it. Like way fall.
That'll be my first. This will be my first even like look at that contest. So I'll be interested to see what you do. I mean, I don't have a problem with the concept. It's just the complete mindset shift kind of that I would have to do from what I'm trying to scale this contest.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I wanted to start with this one first. This is like your cashy contest, and then pivot over to that. I get it. It's not your cup of tea for sure. Like you want to win it, right? You're playing to win. So yeah. That's the thing. If you don't win it, you're upset.
Well, I mean, I can also see the math playing out, even if it's, even if there's 200,000 entries, if you put in 100 bullets or whatever, like, yeah, it's a big investment, but
yeah,
if you're spreading out, like doing a lot of different crazy things, like you actually have an elevated, like I feel like your odds multiply, even though they're still not great.
Most definitely. Yeah, like so last year, for example, I only put like 15 lineups into it. But I had several like finish in the top 1%, like, top 500. And I was like, okay, so we need more volume. Like volume hasn't been enough. This is a large field GPP. You're playing for first place. So that's kind of where we were.
Yeah. One of these eliminators, I made a team where it would probably be more of a weekly winners team, but I was trying it because I had the 101. I took Chase, and I was just like, you know what? Bengals. Yeah. I was like, I think they're going to be a good offense. I get every single piece. If Zach Moss scores 2 touchdowns one week, I just lose, and that happens. But more likely than not, like I have enough, ducks in a row that they should be able to hopefully get me over the edge. And then all of my like complementary pieces, I just took high upside guys for bailout. Like that team has Chase, Higgins, Yoshivas, Gesicki, Chase Brown, Burrow. I just did it.
This is a weekly winners?
No, this was an eliminator.
Oh, okay.
Just
Yeah,
because
but the
like
thing
if they
is
score
like
4 touchdowns, I have all of the touchdown.
100%. And if you believe in the offense enough, like yeah, the offense, like if their defense is as bad as it was last year, and it could be worse actually with them just not paying their defensive pass rushers, Hendrickson, who knows, he might even get traded. I gotta make a pick real quick here. This is tough decisions.
Yeah.
All right, I think Jaden Higgins is going to be a stud this year. So I probably should have went with a little later bye week, but it's okay. But to my point was like their defense is going to be terrible. They're probably going to be in shootouts again all year. So if they're scoring a lot of points, like even though you stack them, you don't always need, it's best ball. Like Higgins has a 30-point game. Like you're probably advancing that week, right? Even though maybe Chase only had like 15. So yeah, I think if you're betting on, a top 3 high scoring offense, which they should be, I think you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I just that one specific team, I just sent it just because the 2-3 turn just fell to me that way.
Yeah,
it's like whatever.
Did you think? Okay, so where did he take Ingram here? Oh, he took it before me. It's fine. I wasn't going to take him, but I mean, maybe I should have. But I typically in cash games, I want to like pay down at tight end, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, Mossy here took Justin Herbert, who I was going to try to get back on the way around. So it's whatever. You're gonna get sniped in these. I knew I was taking him past ADP actually, but because there was such a run here on quarterback, I thought he might make it back. And I don't know. I got to tell you, for some of these teams in this format, I really think it's a mistake to take multiple quarterbacks this early. That's just my opinion. If you take Drago, for example, if you take Josh Allen with your first pick, like you definitely should be taking another quarterback like after round 13.
You need like Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, for this format, I should know the bye weeks a little bit better and like the matchups, but like I don't know every matchup every week. So like if you take an early quarterback like that, it would be like you theoretically, if like you're doing slow drafts, like if you really wanted to get in the weeds, you would be like, what matchups are Josh Allen's bye week? And then you might be like, ooh, I don't even know. The Seahawks are playing the Browns.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. That's a big reason why we're doing these contests, because it's different. Everyone has like got their brain, wrapped around, I got to stack the week 17 game, right? The week 16 game you could stack. And these are so different. Like the weekly winners, I'm not thinking about that at all. Really. I mean, I might be thinking about stacking the bye weeks, to give yourself like a really good squad. But other than that, yeah, you're not really thinking about all that other stuff nearly as much.
Weekly winners wise, like I said, this will be like my first even look at it. Could it be a strategy to take 2 teams in the same division that you think are just powerhouses? Like you could do like a Bengals Ravens thing if it falls.
Yeah, no, I've gotten that question a few times, and I definitely think it's viable. If you get, the Ravens and the Bengals is like the perfect example. So like if I take Chase and I took Higgins and I could come back around and get Zay Flowers later, like I like that. You're really just betting on, and this is just like kind of best ball strategy in general. Like you're betting on offenses, like you want to draft good players on good teams. And if so that's kind of like, even if you don't have, Joe Burrow and like Jamar Chase, like taking Chase Brown and T Higgins is great. Right. And also like on the other side of that, if you got a divisional opponent, they're playing twice a year and they got a poor defense. So Lamar Jackson is going to be crushing them. when he plays against them. And then the Bengals have to answer like, yeah, that's that scenario that you're playing for, specifically in a weekly winners format. All right, so I double tapped tight end because I hadn't taken any. Then Stroud, Andrews, Loveland, we got Besh. So we got a little run on tight ends here.
I do that a lot, what you just did at tight end.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that range. Like if you don't get Bowers or McBride, there's just like a whole plethora that you can get. And I really like the rookies usually, but Freiermuth, Gesicki, Strange, Hunter Henry, like they're all fine.
Definitely. Yeah. I love that whole range. Like Freiermuth is going to be a lot better with Aaron Rodgers. Hunter Henry with Drake May. Big fan of that. You got an ascending quarterback. I think tight end is actually going to be good this year to wait, And that was kind of one of the things when we looked at the eliminator, like this is what I'm talking about. Every time Cam Ward goes way ahead of ADP. So I don't even know what his ADP is anymore because it was like 170. I couldn't get him at 153. It's so tilting, dude. Like you're like, I'm going to get him ahead of ADP. And then he goes like
even earlier. Yep.
I mean, at this point, I just have to take a decent quarterback. Like I've waited too long.
Yeah, usually I've had a lot of instances where I'm just taking two middle guys and that's it. Sometimes if I get one of the early dudes, I'll just take one like pretty late guy. Typically I'm two quarterback, but some of the times I do three if like I wait a little bit because it just gives you more darts to throw. Like I don't see any problem like with like Jordan Love, Drake May. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Gino.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like I want to go after guys that have running upside. So like they have good floor and potentially could have ceiling games.
Yeah.
That's really something you often want to target in like cash games. And just best ball and like general, like Drake May, Cam Ward, if he can be a really good quarterback this year, or even a decent quarterback. Jaden Daniels we saw last year. So it was tilting not to be able to get, I think I might take, I like Tillman here. It was tilting not to be able to get Cam Ward there.
Yeah, it'll happen. The range of quarterback I really like. I've been getting a frightening amount of Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And they're all three right there, and they all run.
I mean, I love taking Bo Nix if I can, obviously. It's really where you pick him, though. Like, where I was picking, I didn't want to take him there, especially not getting Cortland Sutton. So,
yeah, I'm like, I could just be wrong. Like you would know. At his ADP, like in that range of receivers, I don't have him X'd out by any means, but I don't have Cortland Sutton yet. I have a lot of Marvin Mims and I have a lot of Pat Bryant.
Yeah.
Where they go.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I haven't taken a lot of Cortland Sutton either because the Broncos wide receiver room is going to be crazy hard to predict this year. I mean, Cortland Sutton has been the guy for sure, and he's been consistent. But Marvin Mims came on late last year. Vele has been looking really good in OTAs. Sean Payton likes to use a lot of wide receivers. He spent a third-round pick on Pat Bryant. They got Evan Ingram. They didn't have a wide receiver or a tight end receiving threat last year. So I think he's going to regress a little bit, and I just think his ADP is too high.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I actually probably need to show a little bit on Mims and Bryant for what you just said with Vele and Evan Ingram.
Yeah. And they got the running back room should be a lot better, right? So they should naturally be in less like obvious passing situations. Some of the balls are going to go to Harvey. They just signed J.K. Dobbins today. So it's just enough that I'm like, it's a little too much. Just a little too much for my taste. All right, so we got to get – I think we're going to take another running back here. Justice Hill is a guy that he's going to – if Derrick Henry gets hurt, like he's going to get more volume, right? And then he's naturally just a pass catcher, so, he might have some spike weeks here and there, especially if they're really blowing teams out. And Derrick Henry's on the bench at halftime, just saving his legs. So I don't mind getting him there because at this point in the draft, it's nothing but backups. And if I'm going to bet on a backup, I really would like a guy that's already getting some work. All right, so we'll review. Yeah, we're going to review the draft as soon as this is done, real quick. In fact, Sean, if you don't – oh, crap. I'm on the clock. I can't wait any longer. I think I'm just going to take Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones, there's a good chance that he is going to start a lot of games this year. And he does bring the running upside, and he's got enough pass catchers that, he could do okay. I think as my third option, like have some spike weeks for my team. But I don't really love my quarterbacks. I'm not gonna spin it. I got sniped like so many times. So I don't really love my quarterbacks in this draft.
Yeah, you got 3 darts though.
Yeah. I mean, when you don't love them, you take 3 for sure. And I don't know. If there was a guy that I thought like could start, I might even take 4, but I doubt it. But running back wise, I like my team. I got Christian McCaffrey, Mixon, Montgomery, Caleb Johnson, and then Justice Hill. So I think this team could advance. The bye weeks are pretty spread out there. I like my wide receivers overall: McConkey, JSN, Metcalf, Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, and Tillman. I got a little stack there with Purdy and Pearsall, so kind of betting on the offense. I really like Jaden Higgins. I think Cedric Tillman's a forgotten guy. He looked really good, and then he got a concussion, and then Judy went off, and people totally forgot that Tillman was smashing before that. So, and I got a little, I guess, a secondary stack there with Tillman and Njoku. I got Tucker Kraft. So my tight ends are okay. I'll probably draft another one. And I definitely need another wide receiver too, because I got 6 of them. So I got 2 picks left.
Yeah, I would say another tight end, but because Njoku can get banged up. But also, that's another thing, kind of like how I was explaining, even though it is cash game and stuff, how I have that Bengals team. Like, there are times when I'll take, even though it's like it's capping your ceiling, taking multiple guys on the same team because it's a this or that thing. If Cedric Tillman is putting up points, then you're happy. And Njoku probably isn't. But if Njoku scores a touchdown, then that's cool too. Like, if he's taking it away from Tillman, it's like these are later guys.
True that. Yeah. I mean, I would take more, like once I get to the last like couple of rounds on like best ball, I would take, more of these, flyers. Like, all right, I need another tight end. I like Jatavian Sanders. I think he could take another leap this year. But yeah, normally I would go after some of these more heavy hitters. But like where this type of format, like I really want guys that I know are going to be getting consistent volume, that can spike here and there and, push me on to the next week so that I can, hopefully get further into the money in this type of contest. Sorry, Ray. I can't believe I missed this. Yeah. Maurice Claret, Mike Shanahan, he had a knack for going after guys who were like bad character and they didn't work out. Maurice Claret was one of those guys. All right, we're almost done with this one. So I'll make my pick, and then we can start reviewing this draft. Let's see. Probably got to take another wide receiver. Oops, I got 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got 6 wide receivers, 5 running backs. 5
final round wise, I've been getting a lot of MVS and Ikine, whatever his name
Yeah.
is, Westbrook. I like Akine in on teams if I somehow,
And I love Coker here.
yeah, if I somehow have Tyreek or Waddle, which I don't have that much of them in this format, but
yeah, I like Coker a lot because he looked. There were times last year where he was one of the best wide receivers on the field often, and I looked at his stats. Draft Sharks had an article it just came out the past couple of days with projections for 2025, and some of the advanced stats on Jalen Coker last year were just incredible. So I think maybe with Tet out on the field, he can take an extra step this year. So yeah, overall this draft is okay. I liked my running backs, my wide receivers. I'm okay at tight end, but I hated my quarterbacks. But that's how it goes. We'll see how this one shakes out. But let's go over everyone's draft. So let's see. We got a few here. Yeah, right. The running backs did disappear. And he picked ahead of me. So he picked in front of me to start the draft, but we were kind of ping-ponging each other. So he went Nico Collins, Jonathan Taylor, Lamar, Kittle. So I like it. He got a stud at every single position in his first 4 picks. And then just attack depth. Kenneth Walker, Laporta, Jaden Reed, Tyrone Tracy, Zach Charbonnet, Bateman, Rashad White, Stroud, Darnold, Johnson, Michael Wilson. So I'll say this. I didn't like your wide receivers. I thought you were kind of thin there to start because there were so many picks in between wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. But I like what you did with getting some underrated guys like Michael Wilson, Kelvin Austin. I think he could actually do well this year with Rodgers under center. And obviously, you're loaded at tight end, you're loaded at quarterback, and I think you got a pretty good crop of running backs with Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Tyrone Tracy, Zach Charbonnet. So pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
In this format specifically, you need to have a path to victory, and this one's fairly obvious where he needs Nico to have a huge year. I think that's who he took first, and then he's just betting on Jaden Daniels, which is a good bet.
Yeah,
I mean,
or Lamar.
Lamar.
Yeah.
Same difference, same guy. Not really.
All right, who is Heem's draft again? Oh yeah, he was right behind me. Okay, so Puka, Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill. So you crushed it with your first 3 wide receivers. Especially, we don't know so much about Tyreek Hill, but I'll say this: if Tyreek Hill returns to form, it's going to be hard for you not to advance well into the money. Calvin Ridley was another great pick. Chuba, Tony Pollard. I mean, you are a little weak at running back. There's a lot of questions here. If Pacheco returns to form, you'll probably be fine at running back, but you're a little weak there. But you're absolutely loaded at wide receiver, and then you got TJ Hawkinson and Evan Ingram. So you're good at tight end. You were able to get Tua, Bryce Young, Matthew Stafford. I like that trio of quarterbacks: Rico Dowdle, Austin Eckler. So you basically lock down the Carolina backfield. Overall, I like it. Overall, I think it's pretty good. I probably would have not taken Calvin Ridley here, and I would have taken Kenneth Walker, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yeah, I might have one of those.
Or he went before you, but maybe Aaron Jones. I don't know.
I might have had one of those tight ends be a running back and then just take an extra tight end late. But I mean, that's a strong draft considering the talent level on that team.
Yeah.
He's got Puka to Stafford too, I think. Yes. Or Stafford to Puka, whatever.
Yeah. And that's a good one for sure.
No, I want to see Stafford catch passes.
Yeah. Did we go over Drago's? We will. Drago always has a really good draft. Saquon, Chase. So killing it there. Josh Allen, Devontae Adams. Really good first wide receiver at the in the 4th round. So Marion Hampton, Debo, Jordan Addison, Brandon Ayuk. I am a little concerned about your wide receivers. Kind of the same critique, I guess, because Debo is he looked washed to me last year. And you got Jordan Addison, who's the number 2. We got JJ McCarthy coming in. You got Brandon Ayuk, who I think is more of like a traditional best ball, but in this format, I don't like Ayuk as much just because when is he going to be ready? Like, do we know yet? I don't know that he's like guaranteed to be ready by week 1. But overall, like, I mean, you got some players. There's just some question marks. So if Ayuk's ready to go week 1 and Debo Samuel is the guy that we remember him being before the ammonia, yeah, you could do good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about Debo because like we know, I'm a hockey coach and all that. I'm Happy Gilmore. I'm playing football today. Debo, I don't know as much. Like, it just seems like the Commanders' offense is not gonna use him the same way. Like, he's not gonna be running between the tackles, and I think Scary Terry is more of a downfield guy. So I could see Debo like as a number 2 running around slots and posts and stuff, doing some things. But
yeah,
he's not like, I think it was kind of wear and tear. Plus, he's a vet. Like, I think there is a path to victory with him. It's just I don't want to go crazy with my exposures with him.
Definitely. No, yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, so last one, and then we'll hop into the weekly winners. Marion John. So started 3 running backs in a row. I like it, especially with this kind of format, right? Cash game format. 3 running backs definitely works well. Genty, Bucky Irving, James Cook. And then what I like the most about this is because you started 3 running backs, you're like, I'm not taking a tight end. I'm not taking a quarterback because I'm going to be weak there. So you went DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton, Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, and Darnell Mooney. So you took 5 straight wide receivers. Then you went with Bo Nix. You got Bo Nix. You sniped me. It's fine. I knew it was going to happen. And you stacked him with Cortland Sutton. So I like Bo Nix because I think he's got a good floor. He brings good rushing upside. And I think he's going to take another step this year. And I'm not just saying that as like a Broncos fan. I think the Broncos have added a lot around him. And he did a lot last year with little. Like, he didn't have a real wide receiver. He didn't have a run game. Or he did have wide receivers, but he didn't have Evan Ingram. So I think he's going to take a bigger step this year. And you got Mims. Yeah, Mims is that guy that will spike every now and then. So, you need these guys in your cash lineup too. Sometimes your stud doesn't get you 25 points like you expect, and he gets you 8, but you had a guy like Mims, right, who scores 20 out of nowhere. So you cash that week. And a head-to-head format, that can get you there. I like the Warren pick. I've been coming around on him. I hated the landing spot, but it sounds like they're going to scheme him up a lot, like kind of like Taysom Hill, but he's actually a good receiver. So what do you think about Tylen Warren? What do you think about the draft?
I have a lot of him, especially in these, just because of like the potential ceiling. Like, all these tight ends go in a similar range, and I love I actually like all 3 rookies that are like viable. Yeah. I don't know shit. Like, I didn't watch them in college, but just like, you're not drafting a tight end that early if you're not gonna like do stuff with them.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree with that. Yeah, they took him really high. I think the beginning of this draft was really good. You got Bo Nix, you got Penix, you got Shook. I think he did really good at receiver. And you took Jalen Wright, who I really like there. I think he's going to play the Raheem Mostert role. And obviously, if something happens, all right, let's get another one of these. 20 seconds. Let's go. Weekly winners, everyone. Give you a chance to get there. I think if anything happens to Devin Achon, Jalen Wright could be the guy that you need this year.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, let's do this.
Achan plays a dangerous game, but his ceiling's awesome. And I like him in this format, or the Eliminator format at the Week 12. But
man, I don't know that anyone got in. I think I might have been the last person to click. That sucks.
Sorry, not sorry.
But that's how it goes. At least I won't have you guys sniping my picks.
Well, not just sniping the picks. That's a softer field.
Yeah.
If you're taking in content this early, then you are not an average Joe. Like granted, these guys are drafting with you, but like,
true.
There could be some just degenerates in here. Like we don't know who people are.
No, you're right. And that's the thing. There are people who are drafting right now are sharp. And now when I critiqued everyone's draft, I critiqued mine too. I was like, I hated my quarterbacks. But when I critique everyone's draft, I'm like, just looking for things to like pick holes in it. But like these are all like good drafts. Like no one is doing anything crazy like drafting 5 tight ends. You start to get the people in the rooms in July when training camp starts. August mainly, that you start to get more casuals in there.
Dude, I had
when it'll get soft.
In game 2 of the NHL finals, I made some money in DFS, and I played a DraftKings, which is a softer, player pool. I did just a crazy Best Ball Mania one and just went complete upside team. But I had the 3rd pick, and I got Chase, and I was just like, I got Jamar Chase at pick 3 in a PPR league. Like, what are we doing? Jahmyr Gibbs went 1st overall. I'm like, these are the early people drafting. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I love stuff like that. Yeah, I got like Lamb the other day at 9, and I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'm going to take Henry this time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch you work, and I'll shoot the shit with you, and then I'm kind of curious. I'm to learn this stuff, but I know you're gonna have a pick coming up here and a handful of picks, but like, tell me why I'm wrong on like getting so much Justin Fields and Kyler. Like, talk me off of them for the Eliminator. Like,
here's the deal. I will talk you off Murray. I won't talk you off Justin Fields.
Okay.
The reason being is Murray, in each of his last several years, he has declined. His running rate has declined. He runs less and less. So that was his upside when he used to be like a cash game cheat. He doesn't run anymore. Justin Fields is a cheat code because he runs a lot.
Yeah.
So I won't talk you off, and I'm gonna take a maybe take a wide receiver here. This is. All right, I'm going to do it. Correlation, weekly winners. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. I already got my first stack. And I have that if they score 40, 50 points upside that both of these guys can smash. Normally, it's interesting. There's like certain offenses that'll come around and kind of change your mind on this. Like normally you don't want to stack the running back and the quarterback when you got a running quarterback and the running back is taken from him at the goal line. Mm-hmm. But we saw too many instances last year where both Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson were in the winning lineup. So I think it's okay if the offense is as good as you think it's going to be. So you're basically betting on the offense.
Yep.
In the scenario.
If I was doing these at scale like you are you going to have many Dolphin stacks? Because that feels like a thing for me if I was doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have some. I haven't gotten there yet. But one of the things that I do is like once I do like 50 drafts, then 25 drafts in this contest, I'm going to look at my exposures and then I'm going to be like, all right, I've taken too much of Lad McConkey, for example, who I took last draft. I need to start getting like some other picks, right? So, I'll start taking someone different and then I'll start having like different builds. But one thing I will say is because I didn't really love that range of wide receivers, AJ Brown, Drake London, McConkey. I like McConkey, but I've been taking him a lot. So I'm going to take Jaden Daniels there, or I'm sorry, Lamar, and then I'm going to start like hammering wide receivers since I started running back and quarterback.
I'm also trying to think about where they normally go because we were talking about divisional matchups and stuff. I'm thinking Cowboys, Commanders.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So that's one way to look at it. Also, like, I really think heavily on correlation. So because I got, Terry McLaurin here, I'm more likely to, take Debo or take like Brian Robinson Jr. Or Zach Ertz, like I'm always looking for those stacks. And I often, when I'm drafting alone, I will just like queue up a lot of those players that like I'm already thinking about. Like I probably will do that here. But since there's not a ton of us in the draft, and I don't know if any DFS Army made it to this draft because I think I got the last spot.
It's okay. A couple weeks ago, Geek did that.
Yeah. It's just the luck of the draw. Like you just don't know, Yeah. But one of the things that, I found going over the weekly winners is like you had to take like a running back in your first 5 picks. It was like 95% of the time it won. So like you didn't want to have 0 RB builds. They just didn't work in this contest. So, that's one thing I try to get right away. And about half the teams, took 2 running backs, half of them took 2 wide receivers. So you really kind of want to focus on more balanced builds because you do need that upside. And this is an awesome spot to get Devontae Adams.
I'm down with that.
With the start that I had, going Derrick Henry and Lamar. Now I got Adams. So maybe I'll stack with Stafford.
Yeah, and the reason I'm looking at my phone right now is why like I like a lot of your work, like defeating this concept, giving yourself the best chance to bink and all this.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the payout structure. 500th to 4,000th makes $7. I don't know if those people making $7 give a shit if they come in the top 3% to win almost their money back.
No.
That's 3,500 spots of $7. That's like what? Over $20,000.
Right.
I want to see that go into the top 5, top 10.
Right.
I want to.
Yeah, you definitely don't care at all.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I hope they get that type of feedback, and then I'll hop in there with you at some point. But
yeah,
because this is going to be the concept is good, and this is going to be a reoccurring contest, I'm sure. So like your information and strategies are viable always. So
I got sniped on Zay Flowers. Of course I did. There was my stacking partner. God, I don't really like any of these guys. I'm going to take Kenneth Walker here. I know I had Kamara queued up, but I don't think I meant to do that. The way I like looking at this contest is like I'm playing DFS lineups on like a Sunday.
Yeah.
So this is like another 50 or so lineups that you have like ready to go, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with the eliminator because you advance every week. So that's what's cool about it. You're not like waiting to the end of the season to see your fate,
Yeah.
Because I had a lineup in the drafters million last year that I was in the top 100 like mid-season. And like my team, I loved my team. So with a chance, I was like in the top 100. I was like, man, I might actually be able to win like 500K. And then from there on, like bad things just started happening to my team, so it's like, it could be tilting when you're doing the whole season long format.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I probably need to take another definitely need to take another wide receiver here. Trevion Henderson, he'll probably be taken, and he's definitely not for me because I need another wide receiver. I knew Calvin Ridley wouldn't be there either. There's some good picks here. I guess maybe I could take Debo if he's available. I would be surprised if all these guys went wide receiver and not one of them took a tight end or a quarterback. There we go. There goes Mahomes. There goes Laporta. So, do I want Debo or do I want Juwan? Debo correlates with McLaurin. And if he's getting runs, that could help. Like, they're probably not going to smash them the same week. Someone started 5 wide receivers, so the consultants went 0 RB in this. Okay. By the way, what a cool name. What do you think? You like that name, the consultants? Like, it's kind of like, I think of it, I see that, and I think of like the accountant. It's just like the consultant is just going to come in here and mark everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the consultant sounds like he is going to criticize you over nothing all the time. So I don't know if I like him.
Fair enough. All right. So, honestly, I don't love my wide receivers right now. Probably going to be looking to grab another one. There's your boy, Justin Fields. If had I not taken Lamar Jackson, I was looking at taking Garrett Wilson, and then I could have stacked him with Justin Fields. But you take Lamar, you're waiting on quarterback, and honestly, I will only draft 2 because that was what my research showed, that like if you drafted Lamar or Josh Allen, you're only taking 2 quarterbacks essentially. So
I was wondering this not just for this contest, but just like if you were doing Best Ball Mania trying to win $2 million. Like, I know it's probably never happened this way, but if you just were just perfect on almost every position, like you just crushed the year for whatever reason, and you just took one quarterback, and that bye week didn't matter because you were just so far ahead of your pod. Like, if you could just take one, it just seems so impossible, and no one's ever going to do it. But I've thought about it.
It did. It's funny you should say that because last year there was a Josh Allen team that won one of the weeks, and Josh Allen was the only quarterback that he drafted. So he just took a 0 on his bye and was able, because one of the weeks Josh Allen scored 50 points, right? So
yeah, and
I mean, he set himself up really well.
I know Ray's probably trying to bitch slap me through his computer screen or phone or whatever, but like, because he said he's taken 4 before on a team, typically 3. But
yeah,
it just, I'm wondering like if there's just like, if you were just like an uber genius or just incredibly lucky and just took one, like,
yeah,
it's just because a lot of, like, I've played enough best ball in a lot of these sports where I've seen like the winning team in your pod that advances, after week 14, and there's no more bye weeks, is, just lapping the field.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too hard to predict. Like, you probably, even if you take, I'm talking about regular best ball, even though we're in weekly winners, but even if you take an early guy, you need them to carry you through the year. And if you don't take a second one, maybe those 15 to 20 points doesn't hurt you. It's just a crazy thought. Yeah. You usually want that, but
well, it's a unique build, and that's what I think I like about it. And I get it in this format because you're basically saying, like, you're like betting on Josh Allen to be the quarterback that you need a lot of the weeks. And you're saying, yeah, I'm fine taking a 0 like one week. And you know how these drafts go, like, that may have not even been the plan, but he just kept getting sniped, and is like, well, maybe I'll just roll with Josh Allen because I'm only trying to win one of these weeks anyway, and I got him for 16 or 17 of them rather. Well, it's bye week and 17-week contest, so you got him for 16 weeks, as opposed to taking this guy in the last round that you're like, will he start? Will he not? Like, is this guy helping me? Probably not.
In weekly winners, I could see myself getting really gross, and I might recommend this for you since you're doing them. Like, I could be 100% wrong, but like even just doing one quarterback, I mean, I guess you could do two in this build, but like just going like Packers, Lions, and then Jordan Love goes so late, and those receivers you could get like Matthew Golden and Tucker or something, and then like the Lions running backs. You could do some crazy stuff.
You definitely can. You can. Yeah, you can get weird with it when you draft a guy like Lamar or Josh Allen that affords you that opportunity. So I'm going to take Travis Etienne here. Week 8 bye, so that kind of sucks. I got Kenneth Walker. Might just be out that week, is what it is. But there's been this talk that, Travis Etienne's on the way out, and I'm like, okay, so who are they going to sign? They missed out on RJ Harvey. Apparently that's kind of one of the nuggets of the draft is they wanted to draft RJ Harvey, and the Broncos sniped him on RJ Harvey. And then obviously Nick Chubb just signed with Houston. J.K. Dobbins signed with the Broncos. So like, who are they going to replace Travis Etienne with? Like, they drafted Tootin, but like, he's had fumbling issues, and they talked about OTAs. He was already fumbling in OTAs. So until there's a trade that happens, like, I'm going to assume Travis Etienne is going to be the guy. And maybe Bigsby and maybe Tootin, but I think Travis Etienne is going to have a role. And if Jacksonville is better this year than we expect them to be, like they got Travis Hunter, right? They're getting Trevor Lawrence back. Like, Etienne could be one of the steals of the draft, where you're getting him essentially.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I'm not paying like super close attention to like the Jaguars, but like I can't remember a time where Etienne was just awful. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was, and I just can't remember because I don't pay enough attention to that. But
right.
I mean, they've sucked for so long that.
Well, the thing is he wasn't good last year, but like Mac Jones started most of the games last year. Like, the team wasn't good last year, and running backs on bad teams, like as we know in DFS, like that's an avoid for the most part. So, gosh, I guess we'll take Njoku there.
Yeah, and I guess you're someone I could ask about
likely
me having very minimal Travis Hunter. Is that bad? Like, he goes so early for me.
I don't think so. I mean, it could be bad, but I don't think so because you already have Brian Thomas Jr. on the team. Like, Trevor Lawrence is kind of underachieved overall, and we don't know how much defense he's going to play. And they were talking about this yesterday. I was listening to, I can't remember what podcast it was, but anyways, they were saying that some games the game plan might be more him on defense, and other games it might be more him on offense. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a guy I want to take early in best ball draft. So I've been kind of reserving him to my Trevor Lawrence builds, essentially.
Yeah, and like, I'm the scaling eliminator guy. I've been getting, like, if I can get BTJ like at 14 or beyond, like I've got him at 17, 18. I'm just clicking the BTJ button like most of the time. Like,
yeah,
it just feels a lot better. But
for sure. All right. I did not love that. All right, I'm going to take Kyle Williams here. I haven't gotten enough of him. The opportunity is there. And I could potentially do a secondary. No, I don't think I can. Maybe I could. So I could potentially have a secondary stack set up there. Needed another wide receiver. I also need another running back, but I wasn't like super in love with either of those guys. Maybe we'll see. There's some running backs still on the board. Maybe grab Eckler late. So I'm pretty good on wide receiver right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 6 wide receivers. I got a tight end. I need to get another tight end soon. I got sniped on Likely. I was kind of waiting on him. So yeah, I mean, what I'm looking at right now is just Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So I guess that's perfectly fine, right? If you don't get Zay Flowers, you don't get Bateman. Andrews looked washed to me towards most of last year. I haven't been trying to get him. I've been trying to get Likely. I think Likely is the guy that you're going to want this year.
I have a lot of Isaiah Likely, and
yeah,
like you would know more than me, but like my rationale for that is at best they were splitting last year, and Isaiah Likely still had some awesome games, and he was the tight end too. Like he's a young, like tall athlete that can stick it.
Yeah. God, Luther Burden is still there. I did not expect that. I'm just going to take him. So I'm going to need Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, and Travis Etienne to carry this team. Because I took 3, but I haven't taken any for a while, I'm definitely going to take another 3. I'm only taking 2 quarterbacks. I think I'm going to see who's available at quarterback. We'll see. Will this be the draft I can get Cam Ward? I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. His ADP is 173. He went in the draft at like 151, the last draft. Tilting. Especially when I got a little bit of hazy IPA flowing through my blood. Tilted. All right, so I need another running back, and I did not want to leap ADP there and take Eckler. I got 2 Jacksonville running backs there, and I did not want to take 2 Inner Bigsby because I already got ETN. And then Eckler just went Tyler. You know what? I'm going to wait. I'm not doing it. Do I take Ertz? No, I feel like that's too much. Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna take Stafford there.
Yeah, you got Devontae Adams, didn't you?
Yeah, that's why. I don't like jumping that far in ADP. Like I'm very much an ADP within like 10 spots based drafter because the statistics show that like the more you jump ADP, like the worse your drafts are, right? It's kind of like putting together a DFS lineup and like you're getting a guy that's low owned but like extremely low projections, right? So like you're kind of sacrificing EV in some ways.
And in some ways you're leaving money on the table, like your DFS money.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, in the last couple rounds, like, I don't really care about ADP. Like, I'm just going to get my guys. But at this point in the draft, we're in round 13. Like, it's too soon to be doing that, in my opinion. All right, I need to hammer running back. I need 2 more tight ends. Now that I got Stafford, I can get Ferguson. You already got him on there. That's awesome. I'm definitely not getting Cam Ward now because I just took Stafford. So we'll see who we get here.
I also like you can tell me why I'm wrong because like I'm willing to be wrong and taunt something, but a lot like other than like the top 10 quarterbacks and whatever, like I have a lot of these guys like in this similar ballpark. Like they're all like capable of 20 like consistently. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell me like the ADP difference versus like what they can score on a given week between like Stafford and Jared Goff. Like, I know Jared Goff has a much better offense, but maybe not even much better. They got Puka and Devontae now, but they go there's such a big gap in where you can draft these guys.
You know, Goff was like he was like a top 10 fantasy quarterback last year, but I do think with the addition of Devontae Adams that Stafford and Goff have kind of like a similar ceiling, because Cooper Kupp was just washed last year. Like, I bought the hype last year that Cooper Kupp was just hurt the year before and he was going to be better last year, and he wasn't. So, I mean, I really think Stafford is one of those guys. He needs like 2 good wide receivers to throw to. I think it probably have a similar trajectory.
No, I like that word. That needs to be
trajectory. I think they probably are similar in that regard. Like, Goff went really hot last year, and they lost their offensive coordinator. So you got to imagine there's going to be some regression there. And just projecting forward, I think Stafford is going to be closer to Goff was last year, assuming that Puka and Devontae Adams stay healthy. That's kind of the big thing.
Yeah. Like, my thing is like the gap is like wide, and then like they're like actually closer to like here.
Yeah. Right. So,
like, I'd rather have Goff on my team, but if I can get like a Josh Downs at wide receiver and I need a wide receiver versus like an Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
I'm just using random examples of ADPs.
All right, I'm going to take Gesicki here, because he's one of those guys that, like we were talking about earlier with Cincinnati, he'll just pop every now and then, you know?
Yep.
And he gets touchdowns, and that's a high-scoring offense, so that's kind of offense you want to bet on.
I mean, your path to victories, other than the Stafford stack, is Ravens, Bengals, Gesicki, 3 touchdown catches.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly. So I got 3 picks left. I need another running back. I'm good on quarterback, and I need another tight end. Maybe even 2 running backs. So I have like a luxury pick left, like more like a flex running back, and then this is what I was just talking about. Look at Cam Ward. Look at 173 now, and he hasn't gone yet, and we're at 182. Like, you can't figure it out in some of these drafts.
The eliminator is a different beast.
Yeah.
People are going, like, especially with the potential like talent there, and like if their primary guy, folds, he's like the perfect bailout candidate for that format.
For sure. So Roschon Johnson got some tutties last year. They didn't bring anyone else in, and he correlates with Luther Burden. So I will take that. All about the correlation. In this, we got Debo, Terry McLaurin. We got Roschon Johnson, Luther Burden. Obviously, we got our main stack of Lamar and Henry, and then we got Stafford and Devontae Adams. So we'll see what else we can get. We can maybe get another tight end in there. I think I might need another running back. We'll see. I don't know. Henry, Walker, Etienne, Jalen Wright, Roschon, McLaurin, Adams, Debo, Olave, Mooney, Williams, Luther Burden. I'm kind of bullish on Burden and Williams, so I'm not so sure I need another wide receiver, but I wouldn't be opposed to taking one either. There's Jalen Coker just hanging around. No one wants to draft Jalen Coker.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask about that in the last contest, because again, not like I do watch the NFL and I'm a big best ball strategy guy. That's why I'm doing this and I'm making teams and stuff. But I'm not in the weeds on all this stuff like you might be. Obviously Tet could be a smash, and I'm getting a lot of Tet, especially in Eliminator week 14. But those other like complementary receivers, like I thought Leggett looked good last year. You said that Coker's advanced stats look good. Thielen's obviously annoying. Like, what are they like? How do you see that shaking out? I'm trying to learn.
So I like Coker a lot. I mean, Tet, I think, is going to be a stud, and he's going to be the 1A. I do worry a little bit about Thielen, like season long. He could certainly have some spike weeks. I think I'm going to take Jake here just because we've seen it from him. And that kind of sucks, though. But I got David Njoku for week 10. But, yeah, I like Coker. Like, Coker was the guy that I really think I don't know about Leggett. I didn't see enough from him. Coker was that kind of guy that emerged. I'm taking Thielen in some drafts, but I think the cliff might come for Thielen this year, especially with the other opportunity, the other, young guns in the offense. I don't expect Thielen. I think Thielen's best days in Carolina are behind him.
So let's be hypothetical, since I'm an eliminator guy and I have like an annoying amount of Rico Dowdle because the week 14 stuff.
Yeah.
I do this a lot with the late wide receivers in that format. Like an example is like Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. I'm like, I don't know which one's gonna do something because like I'm not like the super inside NFL guy. But if I take both of them, then there's a pretty good chance that one of them is gonna like help my team. So I'm thinking about that with the Panthers. Do you think it's viable to do both Leggett and Coker, or like just should I? You seem kind of Coker bullish, and I'm like I'm down.
I like Coker more, but it kind of depends. Like if you're trying to double stack, I'm gonna take Josh Brooks here because he correlates with Gesicki, and I think he's one play away from being a league winner. And these guys are all iffy, so I was like, I can get one more in there, Yeah. Because I just got sniped so many times after Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
there you go.
I guess my logic is like flawed as it is, like especially with that contest, is if I'm throwing a dart, I have 2 targets to hit, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because it is still like you still want to bet on offenses in that format. So, I wouldn't stack it crazy, but like the Coker would be the guy that I would prefer over Leggett.
Okay.
I think Tet is kind of a target for sure. I think he's going to have a big year. And then, I don't mind Thielen in some builds. I think his best days are behind him. So
I'm with you.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this draft real quick. Kind of how it went. In fact, can I do I can do my full roster. Perfect. Because it's just me that made it to this draft. So obviously started Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So that is my stack. My thought process there was if the Ravens have one of the highest scoring offenses in the league again, we've seen it in the past that a lot of the touchdowns goes through Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So there were multiple weeks last year where I was like, I can't believe it happened again. But Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry were both in the winning lineup. And I went with Stafford as my second quarterback. He is stacked with Devontae Adams there. And the number 2 wide receiver correlates even better with a big week for the quarterback, right? So I got Stafford there with Devontae Adams. Kenneth Walker is supposed to get plenty of carries again this year. So the injury history is there. That's why I kind of went heavier on running back. But he's going to get the bulk of the carries. I don't think I have another stack there with Seattle. I got ETN. Did I stack him with Jacksonville? I did not. But as of right now, he's going to get a lot of carries. And unless there's a trade, don't see that changing. Jalen Wright. I think he is going to play the most role. And if Devin Achon gets hurt and he's definitely got an injury history, he could really be the guy that you need at pick 161 or 169 where his ADP is. Roschon Johnson is kind of just because it's a backfield where they haven't added much, and he's a younger guy. And honestly, in a lot of ways, Swift was really inefficient last year, but got the bulk of the opportunities. Taj Brooks, he's a guy that talent evaluators really liked. Some of the talent evaluators, specifically Matt Waldman, if anyone knows Matt Waldman, rookie scouting portfolio, his pre-draft rookie scouting portfolio, he had Taj Brooks as like the third highest ranked running back. So the fact that he went to Cincinnati and he's going to play that kind of Zach Moss role, and if Chase Brown gets hurt, like he could play the 3-down role. So he's a guy that I've been trying to get towards the end of my drafts, and I just want exposure there. I'm not going crazy. I'm not going to have like 30%, but I just want some exposure. Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel. There's that correlation that we were talking about, so I wanted to get that. And then I do believe I had another secondary stack, Roschon Johnson and Luther Burden, as well as Taj Brooks and Mike Gesicki. So overall, that was pretty good.
I'm learning.
Not my favorite, but okay.
I know we're probably going to take off soon, but I wanted to get one more random as hell question to put you on the spotlight a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
Has to do with old Steffi Diggs. I didn't know if in general, like, you liked any of the pass catchers for the Patriots, like with him in, like if Diggs is playing, or like if he's suspended or something, like if you like anyone boosted, if you're giving a boost to anybody.
So really the two guys that I've been targeting is just Stephon Diggs and Kyle Williams. I think Kyle Williams has been the guy that he's got a good profile. Talent evaluators seem to really like him, and he's looked really good in OTA so far. So I think Kyle Williams is that guy. It's just kind of like an ambiguous wide receiver room because the Patriots haven't had a good wide receiver in, I mean, Lord knows how long. It seems like forever. I'll take it back to, God, what's his face? Randy Moss. Take it back to that, or like Edelman. It's been a while. It's been a long time. So that's kind of like a wide receiver room I want to bet on. So Kyle Williams, and then obviously Diggs. Like he's been practicing in OTAs, so I'm expecting him to play pretty early in the season. Outside of that, I don't really want to gamble on any of those guys because there's not really, anyone else to put your chips into.
Yeah.
I would just go Hunter Henry. So it's really just been Kyle Williams, Stephon Diggs, and Hunter Henry. And that's it. And then Travion Henderson as a running back, I think you could stack him with May because he is, a receiving back. So totally cool with doing that.
Okay. I just wanted to learn about like a team that's like super boring because of the week 14 bye week. Like if I'm going based on my article and the contest I'm playing, I should have a little bit more of them, and it just feels bad. Like,
yeah.
Well, so I just wanted to go to school and learn a little bit.
Drake May ran a lot last year. So if you get Drake May where he's running a lot, like if you miss out on Kyle Williams and you miss out on, Stephon Diggs before that, like I don't really think you have to stack Drake May. Like you could stack him with Hunter Henry, or you could just let him run naked in a contest. Like you're getting multiple quarterbacks. Like if you're getting a Drake May build, typically you're getting a Lamar Jackson, or you're doing 3 quarterbacks. So, he's going to bring enough rushing floor that I don't think you don't need to force a DeMario Douglas or a Kayshon Boutte in there in those stacks.
Okay.
But yeah. So
cool.
Well, awesome, man. Thanks for joining me for this one. We'll keep chatting. We'll keep hammering these eliminators and these weekly winners. And then stay tuned next week. We're doing this once a week, 5:00 Eastern, these live drafts. But next week I got Neil Orfield. So I mean, a lot of people know who Neil is. He's worked for Stochastic and Fantasy Points, and he's got his own channel, Flannelverse, I believe. So he's going to be joining me next week, so it should be fun. And Sean, we'll definitely have to do some more of these this season before kickoff.
Just hit me up, and I'll see what's going on.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Man, it's hard to talk for